Hey, listen, all good things come to an end. Like the summer. In early October, I needed to take my boat out of the water to get it ready for the winter. I wash it thoroughly, empty it, take the outboard engine off. I store my boat in the garage. It's a cold environment that's good for a mahogany boat to store it in the cold. But the engine I take to our basement, that's warm space. I change the gear oil, do all kind of things you need to do to get the boat ready for the winter. Now, before I did that though, I thought I'll make the one final last boat ride on the lake and take some photographs. I've been photographing quite a bit this summer on the lake. Those same old pictures where I take a long exposure shot using a tripod on a boat. I kind of like that, and I've been trying to sort of find nuances even though all the pictures pretty much look the same. Nevertheless, it's been a lot of fun. I've been photographing quite a bit with my pinhole camera. When you take those kind of pictures, I'll show you in a second what I'm talking about. When you take those kind of long exposure pictures, you need something to make the exposure long. A pinhole camera does that automatically. You easily get up to 1 minute, even beyond that, exposure times. Also, this is a wooden camera, so even if I drop it in the water, there are no moving parts, there's no lens, it's just a wooden box, so it would probably float and I could rescue it from the water. Then I shot a lot with my Hasselblad Super Wide. Now here you need a trick to get a long exposure shot on the lake. I put an ND1000 filter on it, so then I can get up to half a minute exposure times, even in the middle of the day. And what's cool about this camera is that if you put an ND filter on, in front of the lens, you can still compose through this viewfinder because it doesn't block your view. Now this time though, I thought I'll take some pictures, long exposure shots with my Kiev 60 and the Zodiac 30 fisheye lens. Now the challenge with this lens during the summertime is that there's hardly ever dark enough to extend the exposure times long enough. But now as the evenings are getting darker, it starts to be a good time to use this. So why don't I use an ND filter with this camera? Now first of all, I don't own an ND filter large enough for this. I don't even know if they would exist. With Zodiac lens, the filters go actually in the back of the lens. And that's, for my work, that's the worst place to put a filter. Because say now you put an ND1000 filter behind your lens, then there's no way of composing your picture anymore. Because you can't see through the viewfinder. Even with the regular, say, Hasselblad, you can take the ND filter off, you can compose your picture, and then put the filter back. But here you need to remove the entire lens, and then composing becomes practically impossible. Now, as the evenings are getting darker, I don't need any gimmicks. I just take a slow film, like Ilford FP4 Plus in this case, and wait late enough so that the sun is starting to set or sets that it gets dark enough. Then of course I need a tripod. And this is an excellent tripod for the boat rides, not only because once again it's wooden like my boat, but this wooden construction dampens all the vibrations extremely well. It's a gorgeous perlepach tripod. By the way, people ask me, how do I get so sharp pictures on my boat with long exposure shots? So this tripod is definitely one trick that helps me. It really dampens the vibrations. The other thing is that knowing your outboard engine and which kind of a rev range is optimal to minimize the vibrations. I got an old early 80s two-stroke 35 horsepower Mercury engine. Notoriously brutal. And it vibrates a lot if I let it rev too low. And if I rev it too high, then the whole boat shakes and rumbles. So good tripod and then exactly right revs. So hey, listen, let's go on the lake. I mean, this video is more for myself as some kind of a reminder of the summer that is now gone. I photograph to show you how I see the world. And this is exactly how I see my boat rides. It's also a lot of fun to take those pictures. There's a certain amount of precision and work, and it's a bit dangerous. Very interesting. So hey, thanks for watching. Thanks for joining me on my last boat ride this year, and then in May we'll do this again. Thanks for watching. Next time something else.